Hello, friends. Today, let's have a good look at Del Shannon. Not his real name, by the way. Born in 1934, died in 1990. An American rock and roll country musician. His best known hit was in 1961 with Runaway. My parents were young teenagers when this man was born. Charles Whedon Westover was from Grand Rapids, Michigan. His earliest musical influence was Hank Williams Sr., Hank Snow, and Lefty Frizzell, all singing cowboy types. Charlie was drafted into the Army in 1954, peacetime, and he played in a band called the Cool Flames. After a term in Germany, he returned to Battle Creek, Michigan. He worked as a carpet salesman and a furniture truck driver. He also found work as a rhythm guitarist in the Moonlight Ramblers, with Doug DeMott as lead vocalist. Doug liked to tip the bottle and was fired for drunkenness. Westover took over as leader and singer, calling himself Charlie Johnson, and renamed the band Big Little Show Band. In 1959, he hired keyboardist Matt Crook, who played an instrument he called a musitron. It was a proto-synthesizer, Crook's invention, but modeled on the commercially available Claveline, an analog sound synthesizer invented by French engineer Constant Martin in 1947. Westover and Crook signed with Big Top Records, who suggested Westover use a new stage name, and he came up with Del Shannon, a combination of Mark Shannon, a popular wrestler, and a Cadillac Coupe de Ville, his favorite car. The first demo was Little Runaway, but the suits in New York City didn't bite. They were persuaded to rewrite and re-record the song using the musitron as lead instrument. This is the version that went to number 1 3 months later. Hats Off to Larry went to number 5. And these songs took a day to record. Just a day. In 1963, he hit number 12 with Little Town Flirt. His hits dropped off the US, but he found continued success in the UK, where they seem to love all things American, and their own rock icons, Elvis clones, and beat bands knew an original when they heard one, and Del Shannon became the first American to cover a Beatles song, From Me to You, and this track charted before the Beatles version did. Shannon left Big Top, so he formed his own label, Burley Records, with distribution by Diamond Records. She's Gotta Be Mine went to number 71 in the US and number 21 in the UK. And it was considered a bit too Four Seasons. By 64, Burley Records was crushed. Amy Records took over the back catalog. And he had joined a new hit, Handyman, in the 1960s by Jimmy Jones, and Do You Wanna Dance, a 1958 hit by Bobby Freeman, and two originals, Keep Searching, to number 3 in the UK and number 9 in the US, and Stranger in Town, in 1940 in the UK. Shannon produced a demo for another young Michiganer named Bob Seger. During the 70s, he was more a lush, than a slightly used rock god. He had no cred with the music of the day, even in the UK, which was just about ready for Johnny Rotten to send the Del Shannons of the world deeper into their bottles. But all was not lost. In 1978, he quit drinking and began to work on a new lineup, to be produced by Tom Petty, who had reminded everyone of the pleasant but cool 60s with his song Running Down a Dream, with its reference to me and Del were singing Little Runaway. It's like, Tom is driving down the car with Del Shannon on the radio, and Tom Petty is singing along to Little Runaway. How many of you have done that? I know you have. Shannon's new record, Drop Down and Get Me, took 2 years to record. Contrast that to Runaway, which only took a day, even with the rewrite. Also, Shannon's present label folded. The album was completed at Network Records, a subsidiary of Elektra. In popularity returned when Shannon made... What did he make? He made an altered version of Runaway for the NBC show Crime Story in 1987. Did you ever see that? It's a great show. You can check it out. Crime Story. Dennis Farina, the top of his game. Del Shannon did some work with the Smithereens on their album Green Thoughts, and he worked with Jeff Lynne, and there were rumors that Shannon would join the Traveling Wilburys after Roy Orbison died, but the rumors came to naught as Del Shannon took his own life with a .22 caliber rifle at his home in Santa Clara, California. The Wilburys recorded another version of Runaway, and Jeff Lynne produced a posthumous album, Rock On Silvertone Records in 1991. Del Shannon was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1999. There were 18 LPs and 42 singles. I'm gonna do Pretty Woman. In 2011, Richard Bach published his book Del Shannon's Runaway. Success led to his downfall. A bit too pat, if I was asked. It assumes that success in rock is equivalent to a sad early grave, which is often the case, but certainly not always, or even most of the time. He sounds like Roy Orbison in this, doesn't he? Nobody sounds like Roy. Come on. But this is pretty close. A man must break his back to earn his day of pleasure. Will she understand it when he's dead? Ah, girl. I'm not sure why I wrote that in at the end of my Del Shannon review. No, Lennon McCartney wrote that. Maybe I meant to say that they were writing it about Del.